हफ्त शहर इश्क रा तार गश्त माँ हनोज अंदर खमे yak koocha aim. Attar has crossed all 7 stages of love, and we are stuck on the corner of the first street. Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about Attar of Nishapur. One incident in his life made Attar Attar. So only that incident will be narrated here for his introduction. Attar was a successful businessman of perfumes, or Attar as it is called in Persian. He gets his name Attar, meaning someone who sells perfume, from his profession. One day he was sitting in his shop and a beggar entered his shop asking for some money, to which Attar replied that he does not have any. The beggar again demanded, saying that with such a big shop and successful business, how come he does not have even a penny to give to a beggar? Attar again denied. Now the beggar changed his tone and said, "You are so busy with the world that you do not even know how to get detached from it and die. You don't even know how to die." Attar replied in a mocking tone, "So what? What do you know about how to die?" The beggar replied, "No, I do." After saying this, he went outside his shop and put his black shawl on him, lying down on ground, and died. Attar went out and realizing that it was a dervish in the guise of a beggar, he decided to sell his business and devote his life to becoming a dervish. He sold his business and traveled extensively before finally settling down in a monastery as a poet. He wrote many poems, and many poems were written falsely on his name because of his renown. One work that is certainly attributed to him is the Conference of the Birds, or Mantiq-ut-Tair in Persian. We are going to talk about Mantiq in this video, especially the Valley of Quest, the very first valley. In the Conference of the Birds, a group of birds led by the hoopoe are searching for the king of the birds, Simurgh, who is a symbol of God. In Persian literature, there are two everlasting symbols, Rumi's flute and Attar's Simurgh. During the journey, the birds will have to cross 7 valleys: the valley of quest, love, understanding, independence and detachment, unity, astonishment and bewilderment, and deprivation and death. Today we are going to talk about the first valley, the valley of quest. Just a side note, if you want to know more about Attar's valleys, please drop a comment below or like. We will try and cover more of Attar if need be. These 7 valleys are equivalent to 7 stages of existence in Sufism. Rumi refers to these 7 stages in his famous verse with which this video began. Any person who wants to begin the quest of becoming a dervish or a complete human being has to cross these 7 valleys. So what is in the valley of quest? The first stage. Attar begins the description of the valley thus: when you begin the valley of the quest, misfortunes will deprive you of all rest. Each moment some new trouble terrifies, and parrots there are panic-stricken flies. Their airs must vanish while you strive and grieve. There is the heart of all you will achieve. Renounce the world, your power and all you own, and in your heart's blood journey on alone. Quest is a journey that we have to undertake with the heart, not the mind. In the Mantiq, there is a constant back and forth between passion and intellect, but the beginning is always attributed to passion. There is a reason for that. The intellect always works on the basis of cost and benefit analysis, whether misfortunes and effort will reap a worthy end or not. There is another sickness in the intellect that makes perseverance all but impossible. The intellect always searches for alternative possibilities, therefore suffering is endured up to an extent, and then another possibility starts to look more appropriate to follow. Attar begins the description of the very first valley that you will encounter with misfortunes. The first thing he wants us to expect is suffering and misfortune on this way. In fact, so much misfortune at each moment that the intellect will throw down the towel and walk away. Another factor on this journey that requires passion and heart is perseverance in the face of misfortune, which is equivalent to true courage. Becoming a human is not something to be achieved in a day or two. It requires constant striving up until the last breath. This metaphor of completely becoming a human is represented in the line, "and in your heart's blood journey on alone." Just like the heart sends the blood all over the body, your passion to move forward in the face of every obstruction must become a way of life. It must become a part of your blood, of your identity. There is an easy way to achieve this. Renounce the world, your power, and all you own. Our over attachment to this world is the primary reason why we do not have the courage to pay attention to what matters the most, our self development. Attar continues his description thus: when once your hands are empty, then your heart must purify itself and move apart from everything that is. When this is done, the Lord's light blazes brighter than the sun. Your heart is bathed in splendor, and the quest expands a thousandfold within your breast. Rumi once put the same idea in one of his metaphors when he said that if the pond is muddy, then it does not reflect the moon as clearly as a pond that is clear and pure. The same meaning is implied here in these verses. Furthermore, reading Plato's allegory of the cave closely informs us that the man who is freed has to turn his soul towards the sun to know the truth. The turning of the soul from the lowly to the high is the essential condition of purifying oneself from the darkness within the abyss of ourself and get habituated to the light progressively. A person who has stayed in a dark room, just like Plato's prisoners, cannot look at the light because it hurts. Even though the essence of Lord's light is good, but the lack of habit, or conversely speaking, the comfort of worldly leisure, makes us perceive the light as something dangerous. But just as we became habituated to this material illusory life, Attar welcomes us to the valley of quest, where enough gems will be found that our breasts will expand thousandfold. There are enough mysteries in our soul that may require our whole lifetime to unravel. The same quest is expressed by another sage, Bulle Shah, in the following verse. वे बुल्लिया आसमानियां उड़दियां फड़दा जेड़ा घर बैठा ओणू फड़या ही नहीं. O Bulia, what are you trying to catch up in the sky? You can't even catch the one sitting in your own home. Attar continues, though fire flares up across his path and though 100 monsters peer out from its glow, the pilgrim driven on by his desire will like a moth rush gladly on the fire. When love inspires his heart, he begs for wine, one drop to be vouchsafed him as a sign. And when he drinks this drop, both worlds are gone. Dry-lipped, he founders in oblivion. Fire has a very special place in Persian poetry, in fact to Persian land. Zoroastrianism, which was the official religion of Persia before Islam came over there, has a sacred place for fire, and this sacredness has been preserved in Persian poetry. The valley of quest will consume the seeker. Out of the four elements, fire, water, earth, and air, it is only fire that has the power to consume others and increase its strength. Attar uses this quality over here to show the thirst of knowledge. Any true seeker of knowledge, a true scholar, would immediately feel in Attar's words his own desire depicted beautifully. Knowledge is the quest in which quenching one's thirst increases it furthermore. Also, there is a reference here to Abraham's quest of faith when he was thrown into the fire and he gladly accepted to jump into it, which was then turned into a bed of roses. This leap of faith, necessary for the traveler of the valley of quest, his being would get more parched at every step. He would get attacked from all sides, because most of these monsters of the world are liars, lulling themselves to sleep with falsehood, whereas the true traveler who has his or her eyes set on the Simurgh knows that this is merely the first step towards a very long journey. Attar continues, his zeal to know faith's mysteries will make him fight with dragons for salvation's sake. Though blasphemy and curses crowd the gate, until it opens he will calmly wait. And then, where is this faith, this blasphemy? Both vanish into strengthless vacancy. The faithful's salvation lies not in turning away from the fight against the dragons of the ages. On the contrary, fighting against them is his salvation. Like Mansur al-Halaj, who shouted An al-Haq and was crucified for being blasphemous, there will be many noises against the true seeker. But emulating Mansur, the seeker would know that all the arguments for or against his faith, all the claims of blasphemy, all the stupidities and falsehood regarding intentions, everything will come to naught. And like Mansur's name, his name will be immortalized forever, and no one will even care about where his enemies are buried. I finish with Rumi's verse paying tribute to Mansur, as Attar would have done so. नैने के हमू बूद के मी गुफ्त अनल हक दर सूरत मंसूर मंसूर नबूदां के बरादार बरामद नादां बगुमाशुद. No, but it was he who said that I am the truth, under the mask of Mansur. It wasn't Mansur who appeared on the crucifix, even though simpletons assume so. Thank you, everyone.